Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, episode 220 of the Kirby on Sports podcast. We hope your holidays were great as we have reached the end of 2024. We're going to kick off the new year with a bang with episode 220 of the Kirby on Sports podcast, and it comes your way next. Once again, we welcome you to episode 220 of the Kirby on Sports podcast. I'm your host, Josh Kirby. Happy holidays, happy New Year's Eve, happy New Year's Day whenever you are listening to the Kirby on Sports podcast. As always, a huge thanks to all of our sponsors, PM Plus Reserves, Shenandoah Primitives, Transformative Alignment Group, Barrett, Pest, and Termite Services, Shenandoah Music, Mark Francis with Icon Real Estate, Mark Lynch with Guild Mortgage, and the Cider House, brand new, located on East Piccadilly Street in Winchester, Virginia. Also, Don't Sleep Energy, the official energy drink of the Kirby on Sports podcast. Use promo code KOS podcast for 12% off your order every single time. A huge thanks to our sponsors, as always, for their support of the Kirby on Sports podcast. We do not waste any more time. The band is back together after 1 week off. We welcome the weapon, Dan Dembski. I'm sort of rusty at this, but it's great to have you on the podcast.
Great to be here. Nice to take a week off and rest and recharge and refocus. Get ready for the last podcast of 2024. It feels crazy to say. This year's gone by so fast, man.
It feels very weird, the fact, Dan, that taking a week off, it's like, man, do I remember how to do a podcast? You know, it's one of those things. It's like, what am I forgetting? What am I missing? So
you get so in the cycle of doing it every week. And yeah, hopefully we don't get knocked off our game too much. I hope we can pick up kind of where we left off 2 weeks ago. So I think we'll be all right, though.
I mean, and also going way back to our glory days when we sat in front of our computers for 5.5, 6 hours to do a New Year's Eve show live stream. That was pretty incredible as well. So
we pulled it off. We pulled it off. It was great. Maybe we'll have to bring it back at some point. Maybe. We'll have to see
and who I'm bringing in now, who does not need an introduction, remembers the live stream he was on, gave us graciously 25, 30 minutes of his time, but he is back for episode 220, the Swiss Army knife, Carlos Martinez. What is going on, sir? It's been way too long. We've missed you, buddy.
It's been a week, guys. You're acting like we were off for a month. I forgot how to podcast. What are we doing? You know what? Enough of that BS that y'all just listened to, because finally the Swiss Army knife has come back to the podcast for the final time of 2024. We'll see you guys in 2025. Of course, we're not going anywhere. But yes, I'm here.
Man.
Nobody does their own intro quite like you, Swiss Army knife. That was great.
No.
Well, gentlemen, I just have to come out and say this holiday season with a week off, there was nothing short of football, and more football.
It's a lot of football.
Both your teams played on Christmas Day.
The best Christmas gift we could have gotten.
Yeah, and then a game on Thursday night. then 3 games
No,
on
but
Saturday.
no, I know none of us watched that Thursday night game.
No.
None of us watched that, and good thing we didn't. That was a disgrace to football.
A disgrace. Absolute disgrace.
Hey, I mean the Mariners beat the White Sox by the same score.
You're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong.
That's the saddest part about this. Yeah.
Is that he's not lying. He's not making that up.
No.
It's not ideal. It is not ideal.
In baseball, that's a high scoring game. In football, that's a travesty.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But then 3 games on Saturday and the rest of the slate on
In all
Sunday.
honesty, I only watched one of them. I can't. It was too much. It was too much. There was too much. Dare I say there was too much football.
There's too much football. I think I'm footballed out. I think I'm regular season footballed out. I really think I'm there. Last year at this point, I don't think I was, but I think this year, just too much football here these last couple weeks. Every single day.
It feels like it definitely feels like it's been like a little bit of an
oversaturation of football.
Yeah, definitely. Because it's not even just that. It's also we had the college football playoff games that we had to watch. And and those games weren't that great, which sucks. But hey, it's year one. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out how to get the right teams in.
Exactly.
You had those going on. Then, you had football happening on multiple days of the week. So it's just like, how do I really pay attention? I want to chill. I want to relax. I don't really want to watch football right now. That was me on Saturday. And then Sunday, it was like the slate kind of stunk a little bit.
It was terrible. Yeah, it was
terrible. Then like they only had 2, or was it 2 or 3 games at 4:00? I can't remember.
2
games.
Yeah, and it was just and then the Sunday night game was actually very good. We're obviously going to talk about that later. That was a really good game. I did fall asleep on the final drive for like a second, and then I woke up and I was like, I gotta pay attention. This game is intense. I don't know why I'm falling asleep. But yeah, a lot of football, but we have great news. Great news, boys! For the first time ever in this podcast's history. Is it for the first time?
There was one year.
The year that his team got in with a losing record was your team in,
right? Yeah, we were in 2021. Was that?
But if I remember, you were affiliated with the Cowboys at that time.
No, I was still affiliated with the Chiefs.
Oh, you were?
Remember, that was the first year I rescinded my fanhood because Dak got hurt.
Yeah.
See, I have to look back in the archives to figure that one out.
It's okay. I have the archives are right here, baby. I got the best memory on this podcast, baby.
No, the Ravens didn't make it in that year, I don't think.
Okay, so then yes. This is for the first time ever in the history of this podcast. All 3 of our teams are in the dance.
It's crazy.
It took long enough. We can all celebrate.
Yeah, we'll actually have Kirby and Kirby's got a vested interest because he's actually still in the pick'ems. He's very much in the pick'ems right now. So it's a good year. It's a good year. If you guys are just tuning in for the first time to the podcast, it's going to be a competitive race to the finish here.
Oh yeah. So, gentlemen, Christmas Day, the Chiefs over the Steelers 29-10.
We're starting with the Chiefs because that game happened about a week ago. It's going to be kind of hard to remember what happened.
I mean, and the other game, the only final score to ever happen, 31-2. So NFL history was broken as
Incorrect. That was not scoregami.
That is true. There were 2 other times. There
was 2 other times, but they were like in the 30s, bro. Like the 1930s.
Well, the last one was
I think the last one was in the 60s.
60s, yeah, and then the one
it was like 65 and 36 were the 2 years that it happened. So it was not a scoregami. I thought it was a scoregami.
Yeah,
I thought it was scoregami. But I went back and did some research, and I was like, all right, it was it had happened before.
I mean, the Chiefs game was a little bit more competitive. The Ravens game, it was just like, okay, we're just gonna.
Honestly, I didn't even really pay attention. Like once it got to like, I don't even remember what the score. I think like after halftime, I tuned out.
I mean, Pat Mahomes
after Beyonce tore down the house, I was out.
Oh, she killed it. She totally killed it.
Yeah, that is true. That concert was pretty exciting to see too on Christmas Day. But The Chiefs, though, they were looking pretty good, Carlos.
Yeah, they gave Dan a little bit of an early Christmas present that day by
They sure
beating
did.
the Steelers and
Badly.
giving Baltimore the opportunity to take back control of the division, which is exactly how I foresaw it happening.
You did call that.
And I mean, we played that game without Chris Jones. Defense looked great. We got a lot of pressure on Russell Wilson. The offensive line
all day.
The offensive line did a fantastic job of not letting Patrick Mahomes get hit for the first time all season. There was no sacks on our side. Everybody's obviously praising Joe Thuney for solidifying that left tackle spot. Will he stay out there? I don't know. We'll see what happens with DJ Humphries. We'll see if he goes this week to try to get some reps in. And, obviously we did what we needed to do in that game. We went in there, we dominated. We got Andy Reid to bring out the Santa Claus costume.
Oh, that was so funny, getting him in the Netflix coats, robes, and then the red velvet cake. I mean, what was better?
That's so stupid. The red velvet cake
was stupid. It was really dumb, especially in the Ravens one where they were trying to give it to freaking. When they were trying to give it to Derrick Henry, it was like Derek's like nah, and then Lamar's like nah.
Lamar's like nah, I'm good. Yeah. Smart move. I don't think I trust it either.
But yeah, I mean, look, we set out a goal. We needed to win, so that we could secure the 1 seed, which Kansas City desperately has needed, and we got it. And now our path looks a lot better to completing the 3-peat. We look like we're starting to peak at the right time. A little concerned, sure, yeah, that it looks like we're not going to play all our guys this week, obviously, because why? We don't have a point. But in doing that, it does give us a lot of time off between competitive games. So could there be rust in the divisional round? I don't know. We'll see what happens. If there's a team that I have faith is not going to allow that to happen, it would be this one. They need time to heal up. Patrick Mahomes is dinged up. He's still dealing with that high ankle sprain. Chris Jones is dinged up. He's dealing with the calf injury. Kelsey needs some time to, rest, and, he's living it up with Taylor right now. There's other guys too that we're probably going to, sit out. We'll probably sit out. Joe Thuney. That's who I was trying to say. I was like, Joe Thuney. We'll probably sit out McDuffie, and, just D-Hop probably isn't going to play. But there's going to be opportunity for guys to get more reps and to get, and it's not as if this game is meaningless. For Denver, it means everything that's coming up because they need to win the game to get into the playoffs. So it'll still be a competitive atmosphere for these backups, for these guys who maybe aren't getting a lot of time on the field. So they'll get to feel a little bit of what a playoff atmosphere is going to feel like. And then they'll be ready to go once we actually get into it. In doing this, also, it kind of guarantees that it has put Baltimore on a path of, because we beat Pittsburgh and because they won their game, all Baltimore has to do is win their game, and then they're the number 3 seed. But in doing so, it kind of guarantees that we do not have to face Baltimore and Buffalo this time around to get to the Super Bowl. One of them will take each other out if they both make it through the wild card, because you just never know what could happen. Logic says they should win their matchups. But we know these two teams are prone to mess ups. So hopefully they get through and we get an epic matchup in the divisional round between the two teams, which I would slightly favor Baltimore over Buffalo, but that's just me. And it, just the 3-peat is looking very much well and alive, and we are well on our way to the 6th annual Arrowhead Invitational, where it'll break my heart if we have to kick Dan's team's ass again.
Well, you didn't kick our ass last time. You won, but you didn't kick our ass. We'll stay that for the record.
Dan, we punked you guys. Stop. We punked you guys. We got you guys so in your heads and off your game. We literally only had to score 17 points, and that's it. That's all we had to do.
Yeah, but you're acting like you won by 3 scores. It wasn't that. The scoreboard wasn't that bad. That's what I'm saying.
We punked you guys. We punked you guys.
We don't need to bring this
we went into your house The biggest game in franchise
Blah, blah, blah.
I can't say that.
We get
I can't
it. We
say
get it.
I can't say that it was the biggest game in franchise history because
No way.
you guys have won 2 Super Bowls. Like, what am I talking about here? Okay, but the biggest game in Lamar Jackson's career. Let's go with that. Okay, we went into your house. You guys had a
till this year
stout defense last year. I'm not saying your defense is bad now. Your defense is playing significantly.
It was better last year though. It was better last year.
But yeah, 100% better last year.
Yep.
And we punked you guys. We had nobody, and we punked you guys.
I hear you.
It's okay. My comeuppance will happen eventually, but it won't be this year. It won't be this year.
I don't know.
It will not be this year, Dan. It just won't. You see, because here's why we're so off the rails here. Here's why I don't.
There is no we. It's you. You are off the rails right now. The rest of us,
I am a little
sort of on it. That's all right. That's all right.
We're off the rails. It's the last show.
I'll let you go.
Last show of 2024. Okay. Here's my reasoning why.
Okay. Let's hear
I
it.
don't think Baltimore, if they do get to the championship game, and if Kansas City also gets to the championship game, because who knows? Once again, Kansas City could screw the pooch here.
You don't know.
Maybe we do come out rusty and we lose. Who knows? But here's why I don't think Baltimore or Buffalo would have enough to beat us. And it is because you two, the two of you, both of Lamar or whatever, Baltimore and Buffalo have to play each other. And they're going to beat the brakes off of each other.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
So it's like they're going to come in limping basically into Arrowhead, and yeah, it's just
it's a good point.
Why
it's going to be a very physical game for sure.
For sure, 100%, especially because you guys have Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry's going to beat the crap out of the Buffalo Bills. But then Buffalo's got their own kind of, Josh Allen, and Josh Allen's not going to go down without a fight.
No. I mean, we
kicked
his ass earlier in the year, but yeah.
You guys did. You guys really did.
But the regular season doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like
to an extent, I want to say.
Yeah, maybe. Because I think you know how to play someone.
But that's the thing is like you guys would have the confidence on how
we know
we've beaten this team. Not only did you beat them, you dominated them
badly. Yeah,
and sure the game was in Baltimore. But again, okay, we're going to play this in Buffalo in the cold. This is where Derrick Henry thrives.
That's a good point too. Yep.
This is where he thrives. So, and that could be the counter argument to my whole thing of like, oh, okay, but you guys are going to get all beat up and bruised by batting Buffalo. Okay, but you got to come to Kansas City. It's not like Kansas City's any warm. Kansas City's cold as hell during this time of the year.
Right.
So It's like, well,
it's not like Miami
let's just say,
we're
just a warm weather team or anything like that. Yeah. Let's just say that this is going to be interesting playoffs. I want the 3-peat to happen, but okay, look,
if the
totally
3-peat
doesn't happen,
I mean, who wouldn't?
If the 3-peat does not happen, I want it. I want it to be Baltimore. I want it to be Lamar. He needs one. He needs one. So if the 3-peat doesn't happen, it has to be because of Lamar.
Yep, I agree with you.
Okay, now I'm we're completely off the rails, but now we can switch over.
No, I think like in general, this was the first game where I think Kansas City really put everything together, and this was the first game I kind of saw like how dominant this offense could look again, how well the defense played as a unit, and just how much fun they were having. Like a lot of games this year we've seen, obviously a lot of the games have been close. The Chiefs, we know what their record is, or what? Well, I forget the terminology, but like the teams in these close games, what their records are. What are they? They have like 2 or 3 wins, most of them, and then you have the Chiefs who are, obviously head and shoulders above everybody. So this was the first game where they actually looked comfortable throughout the entire game. They were having fun, and they looked like they were poised to make a deep run for a chance for a 3-peat. I think if they came out flat in this game and they kind of were similar to what we've seen at spots in this season, I'd be a little concerned going into the playoffs, going into the last game.
Kind of like how it looked last year on Christmas. Yeah. Where we got punked by the Raiders.
Exactly. But yeah, they just seem locked in, and I say I don't know if they've ever been at the end of the season looking this solid and polished as a team. And obviously they've been there and done that twice, so it's not like this is new territory for them either. It's just impressive to see, and very scary as a Ravens fan for sure, because to get to the Super Bowl, you're going to have to beat Kansas City at some point. It's just going to be how it is.
The 6th annual Arrowhead Invitational,
Yeah.
backed by popular demand in Kansas City. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
We don't have to take it on the road this year. We don't have to go to that old stadium in Buffalo and to that beautiful stadium in Baltimore. I do love M&T. I love M&T. It's my favorite.
But yeah, it's and that environment is very tough for teams to go in and play in as well. So it's going to be a tough road that goes through Arrowhead, obviously, as you said, Carlos. So I think the one positive thing for the Ravens that they have this year that they didn't have in past years is they will play their starters most likely in the last game. They will, obviously, they're not going to rest as much as they had in the last couple years. I don't know if it was last year or the year before where they had almost a week and a half their starters rested at the end of the regular season, and then they had the bye. So you're talking about,
It would have been last year, right? Because you guys
because we were 14 or 15. I can't remember, 14-3 or 15.
I think you were 14-3 because you guys lost that last game to Pittsburgh.
That's right. Yeah.
In the rain.
Yeah, we had
but the starters didn't play.
We had 2.5 weeks where Lamar didn't.
Kind of like where the Chiefs are right now. Yeah.
Didn't have any. Didn't see the field at all, and you could see the rust was there. So I think it's a good thing for them going into the playoffs, and having the third seed as well to be able to play early also helps keep some of that rust off, which I think they had definitely had last year, and you could see it. Obviously, not as much in the first game against the Texans, but obviously in the.
No. That's where you kind of saw it because it took you guys a while. It's not as if Houston was threatening, right? But it was you guys weren't putting them away either.
That's fair enough.
So, and then obviously, we've talked about what happened in the championship game multiple times, and we just did enough about it. That was last year's playoffs, and
the rust was strong.
We do got to stop bringing it up. But the rust was definitely there in the first game, and then the second game it was just mind games, stuff like that, whatever. Too amped up. We've discussed it multiple times. But to your point, the whole rust thing, hopefully that's not going to be an issue this year because it shouldn't be because again, you guys need to win to secure it.
We need to win on Saturday, So it's got to be. It's got to
win, or you just need Cincinnati to beat them. But wait, who plays first again? You guys play first.
We do. So
so there's no waiting to see what if Cincinnati wins. It's you guys have to win because you guys can't.
If we do lose, we really have to. Man, we really have to bank.
Praying to Joe Burrow that he does pull it off, but
yeah, I mean against them, I could see it, but still, we control our own destiny at this point. We have to win. It's the bottom line.
This is a different Browns team than the one that beat you guys earlier. Jameis, they've pretty much phoned it in.
Yeah. There's no excuse for this game to even be close. That's
and it's in Baltimore, so it's
And I was thinking about going, but I don't think I'm going to. But yeah,
the tickets are relatively cheap. Not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, that's kind of my head going into the playoffs. And obviously, I mean, Carlos is right. The Chiefs are setting it up to run it back again. We've been talking about it all year, and it's crazy. We're at the end of the season, 1 week of regular season left. It's nuts.
It just feels it literally feels like it was just yesterday that we were having the Super Bowl party at my house.
Flown by. It has flown by. But
it's just crazy. It's nuts. It is nuts that we're already here at the playoffs again, and we're gonna lose football here in a matter of weeks. We're gonna lose football, and we're gonna be in the dark ages again.
Hey,
secretly working on a project.
Defenders, UFL coming my way. Let's run it back.
Yeah, because we covered them so well last year.
I didn't know
because everybody cared so much.
10-week UFL season coming up on the Kirby on Sports Podcast.
I couldn't tell you who the quarterback is. I couldn't tell you who the head coach is.
Not a one. Not a one. No way. Oh man, but yeah, the Chiefs look scary good on Sunday or Saturday, whatever day it was. Wednesday. God. My God, I hate it. There's too many games
on Christmas.
So
well, let me.
About the good teams, let's talk about your crappy team, Kirby, who's not so crappy anymore. Mister, I had no faith. Mister, this team will never accomplish anything. Mister, they won't make the playoffs. I guarantee they'll never make the playoffs.
Mister in the first quarter puts out 3 Facebook posts talking about how bad they are and how bad they look. Oh my God. You are. You
God,
need some. You need some
your
coaching
fan-
in 2025,
Your fan
Kirby.
base is
You need some
absolutely
coaching.
insufferable. Insufferable.
But Dan, I was going to turn to you.
Sure.
Any final comments on the 31-2 Ravens victory over the Texans? I know there's
Ooh, I do have a
really
question.
lot.
I do have a question for you guys, and it's about the Texans because I think we need to touch on the Texans a little bit.
Yeah, we do.
What's going on here? Like, what this was
I don't know.
This was a team that had all this hype going in.
They did.
CJ Stroud had a great rookie year. It's hidden that he's got the sophomore slump. Happens to pretty much any good quarterback for the most part.
True.
But I don't know what has gone wrong here. There's injuries involved, obviously, but what do you guys think went wrong?
I don't know if there's a true leader on that team. I know obviously it should be CJ Stroud, but there really doesn't seem to be that guy who is the go-to guy, and that's kind of been the common thread I think throughout their season, but especially in this game. Like, they fell behind and there was just no chance they were going to come back in this game. And I mean, a lot of times you have a veteran presence, a guy on the team who's like fires people up, or the head coach. I think D'Amico Ryans is a great coach, but haven't seen him really light a fire under his guys. And maybe he's not that kind of coach necessarily, who's the kind of rah-rah type of coach. But yeah, I just think there's a lack of leadership kind of with this Texans team. And yeah, as soon as they got down, they were just like, they were like, it's over. And they just kind of hung their heads. And that's definitely not good. And I know, like, CJ Stroud, like you said, he had an incredible rookie season. He was out there giving advice to other young quarterbacks, which I know now people are looking at being very critical of because, hey, he only played one season. Like, let's
that's what I'm
chill.
saying.
Let's chill it
that's
out.
one thing that really
bothers
like,
me.
put me off. It bothered
Yeah,
me too
me too.
because I was like,
Me
dude,
too.
like you haven't accomplished anything yourself. Why are you sitting there trying to like big brother Caleb Williams being like, you're gonna be a great quarterback? Hey, listen to me, you're gonna be a good quarterback in this league. It's like, dude, you haven't done anything.
No.
Like in the grand scheme of things, like, okay, you won one playoff game and you got to the divisional round where you got, the brakes beat off of you by Baltimore, and then conveniently it happened again, this time even worse. But it's like, I think he just started buying into his own hype a little too much. He started believing too much what these people were saying about him and being like, oh yeah, he's I'm
so good. Yeah.
Like I'm there. I'm a veteran already. And I think he just thought that it was going to come as easy as it did in his rookie year, and it didn't, because now you're facing tougher opponents, and now people have more film on you. People know your tendencies more, and it's just like, you had this arsenal of weapons, which unfortunately you lost a lot of them because due to injury, but at the same time, it's like, hey, to me, that doesn't make, I mean, again, Patrick Mahomes lost a lot of his arsenal and he still made it work. Granted, it was very frustrating this whole season, waiting for them to turn it on. But now that he's got a good majority of them back, now you're starting to see what it would have looked like had he had them the whole time.
Might have gone undefeated even. Who knows?
Well, think about it. The only team that stopped us was Buffalo.
It's true.
And but yeah, no, back to the Texans. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on, but it's just they're limping into the playoffs at this point. And honestly, whoever gets the 5 seed might just have a golden ticket to get to the next round easily, because it's like, who does, out of all the playoff teams, who can Houston realistically beat that's going to get the 5? Because they're locked in at the 4. So the 5 seed is either going to be Pittsburgh or LA or Baltimore. If Baltimore
it could
loses.
be Baltimore.
Either way, I think they could have a competitive game against Pittsburgh, but I think Pittsburgh would ultimately win.
Right.
The Chargers, I feel like the Chargers would beat them. And obviously Baltimore, we've already seen, beat the brakes off of them. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know where it went wrong with them. I guess maybe the injuries were too debilitating and the sophomore slump is real, but Houston, that was a very embarrassing performance to put out there while Beyonce's in the freaking building, Houston native, and you're going to sit there and only score because you tackled Derrick Henry in the end zone. Had that not happened, it would have been a clean shutout. And it was a clean shutout essentially.
Yeah. They only had 200 yards of total yards throughout the game, which is just crazy to even think about. And yeah, they also played undisciplined as well. They had, I'm just looking at the stats to remind myself, they had more penalties than the Ravens, which is a shock because usually we have 7 or 8 penalties a game, but they had 5 penalties. And yeah, they just did not play disciplined football. And I think it goes back to who's leading that locker room. If it really is CJ Stroud, he has not shown it this year, in my opinion. I think it's benefited the Texans that they're in such a crappy division too, generally speaking.
I mean,
their
their closest rival was Indianapolis this
the
year,
Colts,
and they just got beat by New York.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure why New York won that game, giving up the #1 pick in the draft.
Because tanking isn't a real thing in the NFL.
Yeah,
man.
you can't tank in the NFL like you can in other sports.
Listen, unlike in the NBA, the NFL does not have guaranteed contracts. So you're not you can get cut and not get paid unless your money is guaranteed in the contract. We do not have fully guaranteed contracts in the NFL. So for a lot of these players, despite the fact that their team may be out of it, they want to put on good film so that they can get another contract somewhere else if they're not going to get it here. So tanking does not exist in the NFL per se, right?
It's a lot harder to tank. It's a
lot harder to tank because, again, there's a lot of guys' jobs on the line, whereas in the NBA, there's only...
You got load management, and you can rest all your best players.
12 guys on a team, whereas you have
Joel Embiid.
Yep, Joel Embiid, exactly.
Joel Embiid is, look, we're not going to get into the NBA discussion because I have a lot of issues with the NBA. I don't watch the product anymore. I don't watch the product anymore. It used to be. It used to be. What was it like? It used to be scheduled watching, whatever the term was, right? Like whenever LeBron was going to play, I needed to watch, especially when he was with the Miami Heat. Nowadays, I don't even know what the hell is going on in the NBA. I don't care.
Too.
I can't tell you the last time I really sat down and watched a basketball game. Just because the game is just it's just terrible now.
I've never seen.
Look, we are so off the rails. We're so off the rails. Okay, this is the most off the rails this podcast has been. Final say: the Baltimore looked fantastic. Kansas City looked fantastic. Both teams are peaking at the right time, in my opinion, and it's going to be an exciting race in the playoffs. Now we can talk about your team, Kirby.
We will after a commercial break, but let me add one thing and hear me out. The ratings came out. The NFL blew the NBA out of the water.
Yeah,
and
no.
I didn't really get to talk about the Ravens, but okay. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, Dan, come on. What you got on the Ravens? A lot of touchdowns, a lot of first downs, everything in that mix.
A lot of Derrick Henry. That's all. I mean, that was kind of this is the ingredient. This is how they can't stray from this. They can't stray from this in the playoffs. And we talked about this time and time again. Run the damn ball. Run the ball. And not just with Derrick Henry. They did 4 or 5 read options or in RPOs with Lamar. They have to do that in the playoffs. Just keep it creative. I mean, that's the biggest thing. And I will say the Ravens defense has had a big turnaround from where they were in about week 6 or week 7. And it kind of started when they moved Kyle Hamilton back to his natural position. They were kind of able to find a good balance in the secondary, which is something that, the first 5 weeks of the season they did not have. And their secondary has been able to play a lot better. So that makes me feel a lot better going into the playoffs with the defense currently as it stands than, it did 4 or 5 weeks ago. And I was very concerned with this team could make a run with the defense they had. So it's all coming together at the right time. And Justin Tucker is finally hitting his kicks again, which is great to see. Another 50-plus yarder in this game. Had a 50-plus yarder against Pittsburgh as well. It's just really great to see. Everything's coming together. We know Lamar has played at an MVP level. And the crazy thing is he rested the last 12 minutes of the game, which you really don't see that very often in the NFL. But it was good he was able to rest. Maybe a little concerning going into the last week of the season, but I think at that point the game's over. Why not? And go into a game against a division rival and completely well rested and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm very content with the way they played. Their defense was just dominant. CJ Stroud did miss several throws that he should have had, though. That is certainly one of my biggest takeaways from the Texans offense in this game. But they also pressured him and made his life miserable as well. So it's nice to see the pass rush is finally starting to make an impact as well, because I've been waiting to see that. And Kyle Van Noy, once again, has started to really step up for this team, just like he did last year, and kind of lead this defense. Someone who really you wouldn't think would be that pass rusher on this defense has become that for them. So all that to say, it's coming together at the right time. We got to keep it rolling. Obviously, beat the Browns and you lock up that 3 seed. That's what we want. So, yeah, I'm very happy with how they played, and I don't really have anything negative to say right now, to be honest with you. And they cleaned up the penalties too. And they cleaned up the penalties, which is really huge as well.
As Crunk said in The Emperor's New Groove, oh yeah, it's all coming together.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But let me ask you something. This sophomore
Sure.
slump for CJ Stroud and collectively here,
Sure.
obviously, the sophomore slump, do we think this is only temporary? Because I think CJ Stroud's pretty
Again,
good.
It's a sophomore slump. Like, you eventually get out of a slump. Like everybody had it. Dak Prescott has had it. I don't know if Mahomes or Burrow had it.
Well, Mahomes was different because he had sort of a year to
because I feel like Stroud.
I guess his sophomore
easily
year
bounced
was
back.
his first year.
his first year as a starter, so it kind of was
Well,
different. Yeah.
again, like I said earlier, he's lost a lot of the weapons. The offense is not what it was supposed to be. Also, his
They look
offense
way
is
different.
terrible. His
Yeah, their
offensive
offensive
line
line
has
is
not
bad.
protected him at all. But he's also played very bad.
Yeah, he's also just made bad plays as well and hurt them. If your question is, will it impact him long term? Like, is he ever going to be what he was in his rookie season? That's debatable. I don't know. I do think he will improve from this. I don't think. I mean, let's be honest. He has looked really bad at times this year, but
yeah, no.
I think once he gets his weapons back and the Texans address that offensive line, I think they can be good. But they have to do those things. I mean, this has to be something the front office is bought into doing as well. You know, can't just be. It's not just a one-person show out there.
Yeah, I think when the season is over, I think, and he like sits down and rewatches himself and really breaks down on the things that he needs to work on. Like if he can really, which I think he can, he's already shown that he kind of can, really humble himself down and learn from the failures of the season and understand that, again, you haven't accomplished anything in this league to think that you're some kind of, somebody, there's still a lot of work to be done, and he can work on that stuff. And I really think this is good. This is good for him. I think he's going to ascend to another level next year for sure. I think he's going to be. I think he will eventually live up to the hype of him. It's just I think he needed this to kind of knock him down and be like, "Hey, kid, like it's not going to come that easy as it did in your rookie year."
And the AFC is a gauntlet. I mean, it really is. I mean, compared to the NFC, where it's
the NFC's good teams, the AFC's good quarterbacks.
Yep. That's the thing, and you're always going to be compared to those other quarterbacks. I mean, trust me, my quarterback is constantly compared to those other guys. So I get
also in the conference with the baby goat. So
I know. I see. That's the tough thing. So, but yeah, I think that's another element to it too. He needs to elevate his play in order to be considered not elite, but just on a similar level as those other quarterbacks. He's not there right now, obviously.
Yeah,
but he's going to have to elevate that play for sure. And I think Carlos is right. I think he definitely has the tools to do it. I just think, like Carlos said at the top, he bought into his own hype, and I think it's kind of derailed him as a quarterback this season. Maybe slowed his progress into taking that next step after his rookie season, which we really haven't seen to this point. But the sophomore slump is common. I mean, it's bound to happen.
It happens to most people. So
it happens to like 95% of quarterbacks, I'd say.
Yep,
at a very high pace, but they'll be fine. And the Texans are still in a crappy division, so I mean, next year they should be in good shape to still be able to win this division. I don't think the Colts are going to get any better. The Jags are a total mess, and I'm missing a team. Shoot, am I missing a team? Yeah, I'm missing one team. Who else is in the AFC South? Oh shit! The Titans.
Yeah.
The Titans.
They're not
the
going
Titans.
anywhere.
Yeah,
they're not going anywhere.
They're terrible. So.
unless they can somehow get a great quarterback or something.
Yeah.
But I don't see Tennessee
Somehow.
doing that anytime soon.
Their guy loves mayo, so he's gotta stick with it, I guess.
Yeah, he's a quick shot.
Well, with that, we are going to take an extended commercial
Oh,
break.
God.
But before we
was
take
terrible.
this break, oh jeez, off the rails once again.
Oh man,
Going off the rails again.
all right, go to commercial. Hurry up.
Well, before we go to commercial, I do want to send my heartfelt condolences to the family of Greg Gumbel, a legendary sports
R.I.P.
broadcaster.
R.I.P.
I was very shocked to hear that news. He was a legend. Yep. I'm sure you remember the infamous call Flacco to Jacoby Jones.
I'll never forget
Greg
it.
Gumbel.
Never forget it.
Yeah. Rip Jacoby Jones. Rest in peace, Greg
Jones,
Gumbel. He was one of the greatest, in Selection Sunday for the NCAA basketball tournament will not be the same.
He was CBS Sports, in my opinion. Like, if you think about just all the huge events that CBS Sports has covered, he's been a part of most of them. So, yeah, it's very sad, very unfortunate. I didn't even know he was sick, to be honest. So that was a surprise in and of itself. But yeah, he was a legend. Rest in peace. And his reel is there, man. His calls are there forever, and they'll continue to live on for sure.
We'll take a quick break. We're back after this. For sports fans living in condominium and homeowners associations, as well as business professionals, when you need a reserve study, PM Plus Reserves has been in business since 1990. Their studies are accurate and easy to understand. Check them out when your association needs a study. www.pmplusreserves.com. You can also contact them at 703-803-8436. Once again, www.pmplusreserves.com. Is it finally time to upgrade your home's interior? How about with an authentic farm table made locally from recycled barnwood? Shenandoah Primitives, based right here in Winchester, Virginia, makes farm tables, benches, tables, coffee tables, and a long list of other items for your home decorating needs. At Shenandoah Primitives, function and style are combined for great furniture that will last generations. If you're interested in combining the industrial look of metal with wood, or considering something incredibly unique with a live edge, Shenandoah Primitives turns those ideas into reality. Thinking about a mirror, wine rack, or other accent piece for your home, Shenandoah Primitives can assist with that as well. As a local small business, Shenandoah Primitives is happy to work with each client for a custom design or schedule an appointment to come out and view current inventory. Local, high-quality, handmade items can be found at Shenandoah Primitives. Find us on Facebook and Instagram or visit us at www.shenandoahprimitives.com.
Winning sports teams thrive on alignment. Every player knows their role, trusts their teammates, and works toward one shared goal, winning. But let me ask you, what about your senior leadership team? Are they driving your business towards success? At Transformative Alignment Group, we help CEOs uncover and address the hidden drain on productivity caused by disengaged employees that cost companies millions annually. Transform your team. Transform your results. Visit tagalignment.com today. Don't settle for good when you can be amazing. That's tagalignment.com.
Bedbugs. The only thing creepier than thinking about them is actually having them. Trust me, you don't want to have them. Locally owned and operated Barrett Pest and Termite Services can keep you from having bedbug nightmares and infestations. Call 540-340-3922 to schedule your free inspection and consultation. If bedbugs are already in your home, we'll get rid of them so you can rest easy. We also specialize in keeping homes and businesses free of other pests, including rodents and termites. That's Barrett Pest and Termite Services, 540-340-3922.
And we welcome you back to episode 220 of the Kirby on Sports podcast. Happy holidays and happy New Year's Eve, happy New Year's Day whenever you are listening to episode 220 of the Kirby on Sports podcast. I'm with the weapon Dan Dembski and the Swiss Army knife Carlos Martinez, and it is that time to talk about a very competitive matchup as the Atlanta Falcons, with Michael Penix Jr. making his second start, marching into Northwest Stadium. And this game, I was about to call a cardiologist in the Northern Virginia area because the heart rate once again, but
You got gifted a pick on the first drive, right to
the
safety.
This is the part where I go, are you new here, Kirby? Are you new to competitive games? Like, this is nothing new for me and Dan. We know how to regulate this. Are you new here? You're new here, aren't you? Your first time? This your first time? You know that meme?
Hey, all in all, the Commanders with an overtime drive with the legs of Jaden Daniels, getting it done, clinching a playoff spot. But before we get to that, so from the start, Michael Penix Jr., he comes out and throws a pick. I'm like, okay, we can just cakewalk this easy.
Yep, yeah.
Dude, Michael
Penix
Jr., Michael Penix Jr., I think he might be a problem in years to come in my mind.
Okay, slow the roll there. All right, he played good in the first half. Second half, he played abysmal until that last drive.
Yeah, agreed.
Let's pump the brakes here, man. Like, look,
I honestly think he could do.
Stop, because the bar is so low in Atlanta because Kirk Cousins couldn't move. That literally Penix just has to be able to move, and he's somehow regarded as a god. Look, am I saying that what he did on Sunday night wasn't somewhat impressive? It was, because he's a rookie QB. That was a primetime matchup, and he played relatively well. But it's not like he lit it up. He just made the plays that Kirk Cousins couldn't make.
Yeah,
that's literally the difference here.
I mean, his first pass was a play that Kirk Cousins could make, but other than that, I would agree.
Agreed.
Well,
go on.
So let's see. I'm trying to figure out what point in the game. Obviously, Falcons defense played pretty good in the first half. Jane Daniels throwing one pick.
Yeah.
Commanders down 17 to 7 at halftime. I'm like, what is going on here? And
the old regime would have quit, by the way, at halftime.
Correct. I agree.
Riverboat Ron and folks, they would have quit, but
Riverboat Ron has a job interview with the Jets, I hear.
That is so nuts to me that anyone wants him as a head coach. It's baffling to me. Anyway, I'm sorry. I cut off your...
Yeah, you fired one defensive coach to just bring in another defensive coach.
Exactly.
Like, what are we doing here?
Just a dumb franchise. They're just a dumb franchise.
So, I mean, Falcons defense played good. You can tell Terry McLaurin did not get a lot of targets. Falcons corner on that side.
AJ Terrell is fantastic. He's
ever since
Clemson days, he's been good.
Dude, credit to him. I wish McLaurin would have gotten more targets, but Terrell was there to make sure.
Zacchaeus has been good. Zacchaeus has been good for you all too.
Dude, absolutely,
he has been a revelation. Hey,
he's been great.
Has anybody seen Noah Brown anywhere? I haven't seen him in a while. He has
an internal injury. He's out for the season.
You see, I told you.
Carlos called it. He called it. He said 2 weeks. Give him 2 weeks.
I give him half the season. He will disappear after the half season mark. That's what always happens. Where's Noah Brown?
The Bears game half season.
Where's Noah at?
Yeah.
And where has he been since? He hasn't done anything since then.
I know. Gotta put him on a milk carton. He is missing.
That's why they call me Carlos Adames over here, baby. I predict these things. I'm like, oh no, I can't say that one. That one's in poor taste.
But
that one's in poor taste. I can't say that one.
Okay, so going back to this game, I'm sitting there thinking 17-7. Seriously, is it really going to come down to Washington beating Dallas in Week 18, which
it shouldn't be that hard considering that Dallas isn't playing anybody.
Yeah.
CD's shut down.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but still, I was like, Dallas beat us before. They could play spoiler if it comes to that. But in the second half, flip of a switch, defense plays tougher. Not to mention
They were good.
Jonathan Allen back for this game. He was ruled out for the year, folks, and he comes back. So he's going to be valuable. He was on a pitch count, but he's going to be valuable. But
I don't know about that. I mean,
listen, a valuable leader. I don't know what
presence in the locker room. I'll give you, yeah. But
I don't know what he'll do on the field.
He's always hurt. I mean, he's literally always hurt.
Yeah, I know.
You can't depend on him to be healthy for any stretch of time. But yeah,
I know. But you never know. He's good. He could fire could spark, and he could come out there and tear it up. Who knows? But
probably not. But maybe.
Regardless,
are you going to talk about Jaden Daniels? My goodness, get to the point. That's what the people want to hear.
The flip switches in this Commanders team. If you have Jaden Daniels 5, you have a chance. You have a chance, and that's what Jaden Daniels did. 127 rushing yards on the ground, 3 throwing touchdowns. Lamonte Zaccheaus right there, and Zach Ertz in overtime. I'm like, man, something changed in this second half.
Oh, so this is the situation that made you didn't start thinking to yourself, we're still not going to win. We're still not going to win. We have to tie a game, but we're not going to win.
I wish I had screenshots. I could share my screen of his diatribing on Facebook about how they were going to. I should have saved those.
I mean,
for this,
it's just.
I did post facts at halftime. I was like, they're getting outplayed, but the adjustments came. Like I said,
down by
we made
10
adjustments.
Points. You act like that's the hardest thing to come back from.
Well, being from this fan base for so long, sometimes it is. The old regime, like Dan said.
Fair point, but
this isn't the old regime.
I know. It's the new regime.
Not.
Hey,
that's the key.
Hey, I'm putting it out there right now, ladies and gentlemen. Jaden Daniels, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Put it pen to paper.
Wow, he's
already won it.
He
won it like 5 weeks ago.
Oh man, Kirby. Whoo! Wow, you're really going out on a limb there. Wow. Oh wow.
I can't think of another offensive rookie period who's played even well.
Yeah, he's going up against
Bo Nix ain't
Williams,
gentlemen.
Yeah, Nick. Okay.
Yeah. 11 wins, a very exciting ending, going to overtime. In that coin flip, that was game over because you know what Jaden Daniels had to do? The assignment was set, and he took it upon himself to run the football. He can spread the ball out, but Jaden Daniels running the football, he's surpassing RG3, breaking records left and right, rushing records, throwing records. My goodness, man.
And all
it's incredible.
Philadelphia in the first round. So excited for you. So excited. Actually, no, they're gonna. You guys.
Sorry. What'd you say, Carlos?
I said all just to lose to Philadelphia in the first round.
If we beat Dallas, they go to LA.
I know. That's why I said. Actually, no. That actually depends on what happens here. Go where? I'm sorry. Go where?
Los Angeles.
Okay. I thought you said Atlanta for a second. I was like, Atlanta's not even in the driver's seat.
No.
Yes.
No. In that driver's seat.
Los Angeles. So I was talking about this with a coworker today, and I said that if the Commanders can avoid Philly in the first round, they have a legitimate chance of going to the second round. Because
I'm going to be happy with that.
I think
should be
that Los Angeles, they haven't looked the same since that Buffalo game. They haven't been able to put the points up the way they were in that game. And I think right now, Washington is starting to come back up. They had plateaued, they went down, and they're starting to come back up at the right time. I think Jaden. I think Jaden is healthy compared to what he was a couple weeks ago, where he was dealing with the rib injury and all that stuff. So you're starting to see more so what this Washington team looked like at the beginning of the year than what they looked like in the middle of the year, where they were all kinds of banged up and just trying to make it survive through that, gauntlet part of their season that they had. So I think if they go to Los Angeles or if they end up going to Tampa Bay, I don't know if they can't get the 5th seed because the winner,
it's 7 or 6.
Yeah, well, the loser of Minnesota Detroit is going to get the 5.
Which is
so
insane to me too.
we all know that, but such is the rules, man. But the way it's set up is, if you guys go, oh wow, it was a block. That's crazy. The way it's set up, if you guys end up going to LA or if you guys end up going to
Tampa.
Yeah, no, is Tampa in the cards? Because Tampa will be 4, so it'll be 4-5.
There's a chance they can play Tampa though.
How do you guys play Tampa?
Depending, I don't have it pulled up, but it's
because Tampa's going to be the 4.
Yeah.
So they got to play the 5. Correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. Then the 6 plays the 3, and then the 2 plays the 7.
Plays the 7. Yep.
So you are either playing. You guys are either going to play Philly or you're going to play LA. It's one of those two. And if you guys go to Philly, while yes, you guys have beaten them, this one's going to be in Philly again. And last time you guys played there in Philly, they beat you guys. And I think they would beat you guys again in Philly. If you guys go to LA, I think you guys have a legitimate chance of beating LA. So if I'm a Commanders fan, I'm rooting to go to Los Angeles so that we could survive, so we can win a week and go into the divisional round and maybe make some noise in the divisional round and play a banged up Detroit team or get our butts kicked by a pretty good Vikings team.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see. Jeez, it's not.
What are you trying to figure out?
I'm trying to see because I had this.
If you're trying to figure out a way on how you guys play Tampa Bay, there's just no way you guys play Tampa Bay.
No,
I saw it. That's all.
There's no way you guys play Tampa Bay because the seeds are locked in at this point. Tampa Bay will be the winner of the South is going to be the 4 seed. So they're locked in to play the 5. So they will always play. They're going to play. They're going to play either Detroit or Minnesota. You guys can't get the 5. You guys are stuck at the 6 or the 7.
Okay.
So what are we trying to figure out here?
For some reason, I thought something said that there was
because you read everything and you think everything is fact, and that's why you get Adam Schefter on freaking Twitter.
I forgot about that. Oh man.
You don't get Schefter, you get Scheftered.
No, because there's a scenario where Tampa Bay could get 3. And if Washington,
how would they get 3? Tampa Bay has 7
happen,
losses.
It's not going to happen.
Los Angeles has 6.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. It's impossible.
I guess I was reading. I guess I was imagining.
Get off of Twitter, bro. God damn.
No, it wasn't that, Carlos. I thought I seriously heard it on TV. But again, besides that, let's get back on track. A favorable matchup. A favorable matchup is the Commanders beating Dallas, and they go to LA. Because if that's the case, here's how it is in my mind. Because Super Bowl, that's out of the question. Obviously, there's so many other teams that are much better, much more skilled. But the Commanders, I would be more than happy if the Commanders get to the second round of the playoffs.
You should be more than happy now. You guys made the playoffs.
I am.
Yeah, nobody thought you were going to be in this situation.
The narrative that happens in Washington in the playoffs and you get blasted in the wild card. It happened with Kirk Cousins against Green Bay. RG3 wrecked his ACL.
Stop talking about the Dan Snyder era. It's over now. It's
No. I'm just saying that is what is stuck in people's heads.
I understand.
That's going to change if the Commanders can win in the first round of the playoffs.
Well, duh.
If they win in the first round of the playoffs, they're playing with house money after that. That's all I have to say.
I'll agree with
avoid
that.
Philadelphia, and it's a possibility.
Yes.
But if you got to go to Philadelphia,
if you got to go to Philly,
do not go in there thinking that you guys are going to upset them because you probably aren't. Okay, 9 times out of 10, Philly's going to win that game. There's going to be the one chance that you guys win that game.
Right.
And if you guys do win that game, then that would be epic. But
then you're seriously
the
playing with
chances
house
are-
money
yeah.
at that point.
Then,
Yeah.
but the chances of that happening are not high
Right.
if you go to Philly. Going to LA is a different story.
Yeah, but all in all, I
Should be
mean,
happy. I mean, all you're complaining, you should be happy.
I am very happy. I am
I'm
very
glad.
happy. I got 2 hours of sleep that night. Let's just say that.
Until this weekend when you're upset again. So we'll see.
God, he
I
was
mean,
blowing
they're
up
in
the
the-
phone-
they're in the
phones at
playoffs,
midnight, and I'm
so-
like, bro, I'm trying to sleep, dog. Some of us have to work in the morning. Like, shut
Act like
up.
you never seen a playoff berth before. Oh wait, he kind of hasn't.
Oh, he's seen it before.
Just not like this. Not exciting like this.
Oh yeah.
No.
I mean, Northwest Stadium,
7-9 team before. Yeah.
blacked out player intros. That stadium was rocking. And
was it? Hold on. Was it really rocking though?
I heard
Because
from
in my estimation, from the audio I was hearing
Oh, that's funny.
over here in the bunker. Listen, I'm a spoiled fan. I have Arrowhead.
Yeah.
Arrowhead is
Nothing.
loud.
Nothing compares to Arrowhead, really. Yeah.
Yeah,
We've been to Baltimore.
Yep.
Northwest Stadium wasn't that loud. They didn't know when to be loud.
yeah.
There was a lot of times I was like, this crowd needs to make noise, and they're silent on a third down when Atlanta has the ball.
Yeah.
Like, what are we
that's-
doing here? You guys should
Yeah.
be ripping the pipes off of that place, getting the poo water all over you again.
Jeez.
You guys should be ripping the guardrails off and falling down on players walking through the tunnel. What are we doing here? This stadium should be falling apart with how crazy this fan base should be going in that stadium. And no, everybody's just sitting in their hands, just it's third down. Oh, let's be quiet. Let them make the play call.
So it was.
I have a point. It's a quick point. It's something we said earlier, but I've just fact checked it. So in 2020, all three of our teams were in the playoffs because
they were.
Yeah, that was the year the Commanders lost to hosted
Tampa.
the Bucks.
Tampa.
Because that was
yes.
the Tampa. Yeah,
That was
the
the year I was
they won.
talking about. You said
Taylor
that Baltimore
Heineke.
didn't make it earlier.
Well, I was looking at the wrong year. I'd forgotten what year
Gotcha.
it was. I was thinking either
Gotcha.
the 2020 season or the 2021. It was the 2020 season, which now makes sense because I was thinking back and yeah, there was COVID and there was no fans if I remember.
So
Sorry to stop you, but I just wanted to get that.
no, you're good. So it was exciting, but can we talk about the
No.
fact that Raheem Morris had 2 timeouts and neglected to use them?
Yeah, it was
What is he?
it
What
was
is he?
very
John
stupid.
Harbaugh? Sheesh. Come on.
What is he, Mike McCarthy? What is
Yeah,
he?
Mike
Like,
McCarthy. Woof.
And
Listen,
he
it-
typed
it-
presser. God,
It
Yeah, exactly.
baffles. It really baffles my mind how these coaches don't have this instinct. It is crazy to me
unreal.
that a person playing a Madden or playing
Knows better.
college football knows when to call timeouts. And the crazy thing about it is earlier in the day during the Minnesota Green Bay game, Brady explained the situation perfectly on what he would do in that situation
knows.
with the
He's been there.
timeouts.
Sure.
He said he would use a timeout like around like the 1 minute mark, between the 2 and 1. Then he would use another timeout between like 1 and like 45. And then if you had a third timeout, he would save it for the kicker, right? But in this case, they had 2, and there was a play that they had like 40 seconds left on the clock, and
And
they
they just, like,
decided to
roll
hurry
it,
up,
roll
and
it,
they killed,
roll,
and
yeah.
they snapped it with 27 seconds left.
Yeah, totally.
And I was
What is
like,
the operation? I
Call
wanted
the
to-
timeout.
Yeah,
Call
it
the
was bad.
timeout. Save as much time as possible, and then that way you can get a couple more plays down the line so that you get closer. And because this kicker can't make a field goal that long, so
It's a
what are we doing?
Everybody
point.
thought he made it in Atlanta, though.
That was
they
bad.
did. I saw those videos. I was
Ball
like,
landed in
that's
the end
Well,
zone,
I mean,
like in the middle of the
I
end
mean,
zone.
the angle that it was shot at,
was bad.
did look like it was going to be good. Like for a minute there, I was like, oh, and I was like, no, it's going to be short. But yeah, it's just like I just don't understand these coaches. Like, why are you holding on to timeouts at the
Can't
end
take
of
them
the
with
game?
you. Can't take them
That's
with
what I'm saying. You can't take them with you. Like,
Yep.
you they don't roll over into the next game. Freaking use them.
Right.
Also,
right.
it's like, why is there no coach in his like? if a coach doesn't know how to time manage properly, which it
Then
still
someone
baffles my
should.
mind that these guys don't know how to do it. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, I know how to do it.
Yeah.
But if they don't know how to do it, then they should they need to hire somebody who's going to tell them what to do. Be like,
they need
hey,
a timeout.
call a timeout right now. Get a time management coach.
They need a
There's
time
coaches
management
that have done that
consultant.
before.
Yep.
It baffles my mind.
Yeah, it's crazy it's crazy at the NFL level that happens. I mean, in high school, some college, okay, that's understandable, but that should not be happening in the National Football League, and it does.
Yeah, but at
and
least
it's
in
happened a
college,
lot.
like you have, the time management things of like you
Sure.
get, you get the first down, the
Sure,
clock
the
is
clock
going to
stops.
stop while they
Right,
reset
until the
you
until it
know,
resets, yeah.
so you have time to do that whole like hurry up thing. In the NFL, it doesn't stop.
Right.
So why are we holding on to a timeout?
Right.
It's
It
stupid.
doesn't make any
It's
sense.
stupid.
That's-
Dumb.
It baffles you, but it baffles everyone.
Indeed.
Wow.
But yeah, congrats, Kirby, on your team making the dance.
Yeah, it's awesome, man.
It was
I told you they would. It's crazy that I had more belief in your team than you did.
Yeah,
A lot
it
more.
is. It is. We're
A
gonna.
lot more.
Hey, make some noise. But hey, I will say, and this is going to be very fun. It's going to be very fun. The
God,
Commanders
this is gonna be
have
dumb.
locked second place in the NFC East, which means this year they are on the road facing off against one Kansas City Chiefs.
They were already going to do that anyways.
Oh, okay. Well,
Because remember it goes in
that
4-year
should be a fun-
cycles. Think about it. It's been 4 years since we went to the Commanders.
Yeah,
or
that-
the- I
that
think
is
I watched
true.
the football
That
team
is
Kansas
true.
City game. It was already in rotation, so it wasn't
Yeah,
like
it
because they
would've
got
happened
second
anyway.
place they were going to go. It was already going to happen. It's just like this is going to be Patrick Mahomes' first time going to Dallas this next season.
in hosting the Lions. That's going to be interesting.
Okay.
And
Why are we
the
talking about
Commanders
this?
play
Why
the
are we
Bears-
talking about the future schedule, Kirby?
Why?
Come on, dude.
We got
Come
all
on.
off season to talk about this BS.
We got the pick'ems to do still.
Hey, that's a good point. The Washington Commanders are in the playoffs. I can't believe it. Let's rock and roll. You're tuned into episode 220 of the Kirby on Sports podcast. Coming next, the Kirby on Sports Pick'em, and you don't want to miss it.
It's Jason, General Manager at Shenandoah Music, here to tell you all about...
Jay, what are you doing here?
Well, Matt, I'm trying to tell the people about our selection of guitars, basses, keyboards, drum sets.
I know that, but I always do the radio spots.
You get to have all the fun. I want to tell everyone about our huge selection, unbeatable prices, unmatched service, and in-depth knowledge.
Jay, I really don't think now is the time to discuss.
So remember, folks, when you think music, think Shenandoah Music.
Hey there, Kirby on Sports Podcast fans. Mark Francis with Icon Real Estate here for you. Remember, if you have any real estate needs, buying or selling, I'm your guy. I would love to help you out. And you can also find me on my own personal podcast, Iconic Talk, where you get a chance to learn about the local real estate market and why Winchester is an amazing place to live. Reach out to me anytime, 540-247-1527, and find Iconic Talk anywhere you get your podcasts.
The Cider House is now open on East Piccadilly Street in downtown Winchester. The Cider House is open starting at noon Wednesday to Sunday. Stop in for a wide variety of ciders on draft, as well as 4 Virginia beers, wine, and ready-to-drink canned cocktails. Don't miss our lunch specials featuring our house salad. We also have dinner specials too. Stop in today at the Cider House, located on Piccadilly Street in downtown Winchester.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the last Kirby on Sports Pick'em in 2024. It is a competitive, it is a close, it is an exciting race.
And Kirby
as
is
we
still
are
in last
reaching-
place. He started in last place 2024 and he finishes in
I
last
gotta
place
laugh at that.
2024.
I'm sorry. That was too funny. I gotta laugh. Yep.
It's called the Kirby Zone for a reason. It didn't get that name by
Hey,
accident. What can we say?
Dan, I wouldn't be talking because you're awfully close, bud. Come on.
I'm awfully close, but hey, I'm still not there.
So hold on. Here's the funny thing. I kind of went back into our archives a little bit. It turns out we had already called it the Kirby Zone a long time ago. And I don't know why we stopped calling it the Kirby Zone and why we all forgot that we had already called it that. But it's been the Kirby Zone for a while.
It has.
Anyways, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen,
It's not going to change
welcome.
this week, Kirby. It's not. Wow.
It's
Nothing's
not.
gonna
For the
change.
second time for this season, we have all made the same picks. There is no listen. Week 18 is really hard to pick,
Yeah.
and we basically all just said, "Screw it, let's just all make the same picks." Even though we know nobody knew the same picks except for me, of course, because I get all the picks because I have to make the graphic. But I already write my picks beforehand. Before you guys send me the picks, I always make my picks, and I was like, "We're literally picking the same thing." So yeah, welcome to the Week 18 Pick'ems, the final regular season Pick'em or whatever. From here on out, it's postseason, so we're gonna have less and less games. Brought to you by Anthony's Pizza, home of the Warrior, of course. The standings currently are: I, as your two-time defending champion, am still in first place at 71-31. Dan inched closer by picking the Vikings, and he is now 1 game behind me at 70-32. And Kirby is 2 games behind me, 1 game behind Dan. And finally in the race in the postseason at 69-33.
Nice.
Sweet number, bro. So with that being said, I will turn this over to Kirby really quick, and I will ask him, Kirby, how does it feel to be going into the playoffs and still having a vested interest in this?
Really good question.
It doesn't matter what you think, because at the end of the day, you are still. I'm kidding, Kirby. No, seriously, no. In all honesty, I do want to know how you feel.
That was good.
In all honesty, I do want to know. Like seriously, how do you feel? Like, how does it feel knowing that like you're going into the postseason, like, and still in this? I won't interrupt you. I promise.
Dude, that was hilarious, man. I'm sorry. That was too funny. That was a good question. I'm glad you brought it up. Yeah, I mean, we've given ourselves a fighting chance the entire season. It's just we're sticking to the Kirby on Sports method. We're sticking.
All right, that's enough. Shut your mouth. Let's move on.
We're sticking to our brand of football. We're sticking to our brand of pick'em, and it's working out. And we're just sticking to our culture. And hopefully, by the time rolls around,
no, Dan, this makes perfect sense. He's sticking to his culture, which is exactly why he's in last place still, despite the fact that he's the most improved. He's
all that
still
speech,
in last place.
That whole speech, and he's still behind me. It's a thin margin.
No comment. No comment.
Yeah. Okay. Kirby zone.
Anyway, so yes,
culture, please.
Hilariously, it was a very stressful week for Dan because he was at risk of falling into the Kirby zone himself, but no, instead he survived and
live to see another week, baby. Let's go.
He's and there will be no changes this week. So, with that being said, the games we will be picking are obviously the marquee matchup that everybody's going to be excited to watch. Minnesota, Detroit, winner gets the 1 seed in the NFC. We'll also be picking Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. This is a tough week to pick games for. I was struggling. I tried my best.
2 games especially.
Yeah, I tried my best not to put any of our teams in.
And of course, Cream Cheese Kirby texts Carlos. I'm like, can I suggest Lions Vikings?
I don't know why he was like, oh, can I suggest go Minnesota Detroit for the pick'ems? I'm like, dude, like I'm not gonna already have that game on there. Are you serious? Like, the hell are you talking about? Like, oh yeah, you really helped me out there, Kirby.
He's the first game on there. Oh man.
Anyways, but yeah, so I tried my best not to put any of our teams in the pick'ems, but I ran out of games, so I ended up putting Cleveland, Baltimore. I put New Orleans, Tampa Bay, Miami, New York, the Jets, and then Carolina, Atlanta. So with all that being said, I will go first, as always, as your two-time pick'ems champion. I will be taking Detroit over Minnesota. This was a tough one to pick for me. Minnesota's been playing red hot.
Very tough.
But after seeing Detroit play San Francisco, they still got it. And yes, Kirby, that game was not terrible like you thought it was going to be. It was actually a very entertaining game. This is why you're in last place, because you don't know how to properly evaluate games. But with that being said, yeah, I'm gonna go Detroit. This game is in Detroit.
Oh no.
Oh, it happened again. We lost Carlos.
It's a great freeze frame though.
Yeah, it is a great freeze frame. Let's put that up right there.
That's
Freeze
fun.
frame right there. Freeze frame of Carlos frozen in time. If we can get him back quickly,
Do you
the
wanna do my
Lions.
picks? Oh,
Yeah. So we both picked the Lions. We both
Yes.
picked the Bengals.
yeah.
Both picked the Ravens. Both picked the Bucks. Both picked the Dolphins. And both picked the Falcons. I mean,
I'm back.
oh, great.
back.
There he is.
I'm back. Okay. Sorry, there was
it just
something
starts
blocking
and
my
there's-
router.
And there's a chair there. All of a sudden, as Carlos just runs over. I'm back. It's great.
Who?
Wh-
Disaster
okay.
averted. We gave our picks while you were frozen.
Well, whatever. My picks are. We all pick the same thing, so I'm not.
Yeah,
gonna go
it's-
through my picks.
There's
Screw
not
it.
a lot of analysis this week.
I would
No.
imagine we all have the same reason for our picks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all not
The
trying
Lions,
to
man,
blow
they're
it
gonna
right
bite
now.
off kneecaps for the number
Exactly.
1 seed.
Definitely
We're
playing
all
it
just
safe.
we're all trying to go in safely into the
Postseason.
postseason. Yes, because the postseason we're gonna be forced to pick our teams, so there's
That's
no
right.
safe picks.
That's right.
So yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, those are our pick'ems, I guess. I'm not gonna go
Yeah,
through my
this-
picks.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
But
mean,
we all picked the Lions, we all picked the Bengals, we all picked the Ravens, we all picked the Bucks, we all picked the Dolphins, we all picked the Falcons. Merry Christmas, everybody, and Happy New
and
Year.
pick with us, and you'll win a free.
Free
Oh, sorry.
large
Go
cheese
to the
pizza.
promo from Anthony's. home
yeah,
of
a
the Warriors.
free large cheese pizza from Anthony's Pizza, home of the Warriors, Steven City. We'll post this graphic on Facebook and
Exclusions
I do-
apply. You cannot be related to Kirby or I to win. This is
God.
new rule.
So here's something that I did because Kirby did it. I put all our information into ChatGPT.
Oh, cool.
But this time I added the information.
so
Okay,
so
Kirby,
you
but
don't
I didn't
like
share it.
I do it?
I didn't share it the way you did, okay? And also you left out valuable information. Like you left out the fact that I'm the 2-time defending champion. You left out the fact that there are 13 more games to pick from
That's a
in
good
the
point.
playoffs. Okay, you left all this information out of it. So I
I'd
added
like
it all in. And I ran all the numbers, I ran all the scenarios, and then
Boy.
I asked it point blank. Who do you think is going to win?
Oh, it's you.
And it picked
It's you.
me. I am
I
going
knew it.
to three-peat it,
knew
baby. It says because
Ugh.
I have a history of winning and because at the time I had a 2-game lead. Now I only have a 1-game lead. But they said if I make just safe picks, there's just no way I lose this thing. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. It's going to be a race to the finish again.
Carlos and I 1 game apart, and then Kirby right behind me. This is
This
is
time,
exactly
this
what we
time you
want.
got
This is
somebody
exactly
nipping
what
at
we
your
want.
ass right now, Dan.
That's right.
Well,
That's
no,
right.
that's not true. That's not true. Last year I was behind and I was catching up to you, and it wasn't until
That's-
I had Super Bowl that I
that's a good
caught
point.
up.
That is a good
So
point.
this time it's just weird that like Kirby's in the fight right now. So,
It is.
but
it is
yes,
weird.
ChatGPT has chosen your boy. Maybe that's what we do. Also, we put up a poll and we see who people think is going to come out on top in the pick'ems. Will I three-peat? Will Dan stop me? Will Kirby have his
Will he?
redemption arc and win
Yeah.
it this year?
That
Is
could-
it
could be.
possible? I don't
Could
think
be.
it is, but is it possible that Kirby wins
It's
the
possible.
pick'ems, goes from worst to first? We'll see.
How
we
many?
will have to
What was
wait and see.
what was his record this time going into Week 18 last year? Do you have that readily available?
Real quick.
Because I would bet it's a 10-game improvement, probably, right?
He is. I mean, if all things considered, he is the most improved player of the year.
Oh yeah, by far, yeah.
Let me see. Go back.
So early congrats are in order for you, Josh. Kirby.
Week 18 last year, we are all significantly better. I was 65 and 37 going into week 18 last year. I'm obviously 71 and 31, so I have about a 6-game improvement. Dan, you were 67 and 35.
Oh,
So you have about a 3-game improvement. Yeah. And then Kirby, wow, right on the money, Dan. 10 games. He was 59 and 43 last year. This year he's 69 and 33.
That's so nuts. So nuts.
And then
Congrats,
after week 18, he had a horrible week 18 last year. He only got 1 game right last year. So yeah, last year he got 1 game right, and he was 60 and 48 coming out of week 18. So he's way above where he was last year.
That's insane.
Dan, we are where we were pretty much going into wild card weekend. We are there in week 18. Going into wild card weekend, I was 71 and 37. I'm 71 and 31.
Right.
And you were 72 and 36. So you were 2 games worse right now, but you're still technically ahead because this is for next week.
True.
But
yeah, that's
cool, all in all, we're all picking significantly better this year, which kind of sucks for Kirby
really
because
solid. Yeah.
Kirby being 10 games better and still being in last place is so nuts that, yeah. He's trying, though. He's trying.
I am trying. So
But
that concludes.
Hold on. We do have to talk about this. If Kirby loses 4 years in a row, what happens? You still owe us the pancakes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are punishments?
He has to go to IHOP in a dress.
No.
Yes. Kirby, this will incentivize you to pick the best possible ways you can. This will happen. It's decided. Dan, it's decided.
This will not happen. Carlos is being ejected from the podcast. No, I'm playing, but regardless,
Kirby, I think you could pull it off. I really believe you could. So
listen,
I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say
Kirby,
yes.
worst punishments have happened to fantasy.
Oh, yeah.
To people who come last place in fantasy. You have had your opportunity to pay up this debt, and you have not done it. Therefore, we have to make the debt. There's interest on this debt, baby, and you have to pay. So guess what? Officially speaking, if Josh Kirby comes in last place for the 4th year in a row, he must wear a dress while he eats 40 pancakes.
Yep. It's only fair.
There's interest to be paid.
Dude, Dad,
you will be okay. You will be okay. You will be okay, Kirby.
Hey, let's close the show. Well, we got New Year's Eve festivities to get to, but gentlemen,
very quickly,
I will pose to you this. It has been a very successful, fun, and exciting 2024. Dan Dembski, the weapon, the Swiss Army knife, Carlos Martinez, and myself, right here on the Kirby on Sports podcast. Gentlemen, it was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to 2025 with each and every one of you.
Well, given what we have possibly planned for 2025, we got some big things coming for you guys this year.
Stay tuned. And thank you all for the support.
We will
Happy New Year to everybody.
We will announce it eventually whenever Kirby's ready to announce.
That's right. Amen to that.
Project.
With that, thanks to our sponsors once again, PM Plus Reserve, Shenandoah Primitives, Transformative Alignment Group, Mark Lynch with Guild Mortgage, Mark Francis with Icon Real Estate, Barrett, Pest, and Termite Services, Shenandoah Music, the Cider House, and the official energy drink of the Kirby on Sports podcast, Don't Sleep Energy. Use promo code KOS Podcast for 12% off your order every single time. Find this podcast on all streaming platforms, all social media platforms, and www.kirbyonsports.com. Happy holidays, happy New Year's Eve, happy New Year's Day whenever you are listening to this podcast. Thank you for your support, and we look forward to catching you in 2025.